So I'm gonna ask the boring question that most students really like to know is like what sort of resources did you use to find your jobs that you're looking for? So what kind of networking areas did you use? LinkedIn? Did you use like your college career services or equivalent? Um, did you just cold call people?
Jillian, I want
Yeah,
you to, Jillian, you start that
sure.
one off because we get a different voice here.
Okay. Definitely use as many resources as possible. Uh, the resources that allow you to kind of form or approach someone in the most personalized way will work the best. So I had actually like one successful cold email ever in my life, applying for an internship. And what I did beforehand was just figure out who I wanted to email, read a bunch of his papers. This is an engineering guy. Read a bunch of his papers, like really understood what he was working on. This is for my internship at NASA, and then just formed like a very personalized email. Mentioned a couple of papers I had read and things I liked about them. Was intelligent about it, and he emailed me back at like 11 o'clock saying that was the first. This is the first cold email I've ever responded to ever. Can I call you right now? So so that can work. It can work. I don't think that's a good approach to take. I was probably very lucky. Um, but the thing I used the most was the university career services directory. When Northwestern had this thing where we could look up all the alumni that have graduated, gave us their phone number, their email addresses. You could search by company. So that's what I did and got a few contacts at Tesla that way.
Thank you.
Also, one more thing. Also, LinkedIn is definitely a great tool to use. Uh, Mostly, if you can find a friend of yours that knows someone at the company. So, um, LinkedIn is good just to see how those circles interact. That's just a good way to get introduced to someone working at a company.
So
Yeah,
it's,
I'd say that. Oh, sorry, I'm jumping the gun. I'll be quick. There's two kinds of networking. Really, there's the informational, figure out what they're doing is of interest to you. You know, would you want to work there? And then there's trying to get a job, trying to get an interview. The approach for each of those has got to be a little different, but kind of parse those two out in your mind because you have to understand what that person getting the email can do and is willing to do. So when you're reaching out to friends, when you're reaching out to people in companies, and it's very early stage, you haven't really looked into it much, reach out to your friends, be very casual. Can I have 15 minutes just to chat, whatever. But when it's a company that you've identified as something you see potential with, and you've done your research and you know specifically, exactly what job you want, then more formal approach with, targeted emails at the people who either are the decision makers or can connect you with the decision makers because hitting a consultant level person like me, I can forward you on to HR, but I would be better suited for that first category of I can tell you what I do and you can bounce stuff off me and make sure that that's right for you. So have those two categories as distinct, and one can lead to the other for sure, but have them distinct in your mind so that the person receiving your networking message understands what you're really trying to get out of it.
Thank you.
you know, the point these guys are making tonight, if you think about it, is the importance of talking to people. And one thing, and maybe this is just the way I felt when I was in school, but I have a feeling I wasn't entirely alone. Is, you're in university for the time you are, and you're around people constantly your own age. And yeah, you get to talk to professors a little bit, but that's kind of weird too, because they are who they are, you are who you are, and the bottom line is you're living in a bubble where you don't really talk that much to older people. And so when you listen to what these guys are saying about informational interviews and get out there and talk to people, if it feels a little forced or if it feels a little weird, it's because it is from your standpoint. And so the only way I can think of to get good at it is just force yourself to do it a few times. And the more once you break the ice, And you know, whether it's Julian's magical email or whether it's, you know, Henry's approach of, you know, dividing, you know, your targets into informational or, you know, or is this to get the job. But, you know, once you start doing it, it'll first of all, you'll be amazed if you do what we're doing tonight with these guys, to just get them to tell their story. You will be stunned at how often people want to do that. They want to talk. They want to give back, or they want to talk about what they've done. And you get good information, you establish a contact, and then over time, you'd be amazed at how helpful they'll be in the long run. But if it feels a little weird, I guess that's my point. It's because it is in the beginning, but you get used to it after a while. Who's next?
I just wanted to add one thing.
Oh, yeah. Where's you?
Yeah, no, just reiterating the points that Henry and Julian already made. You know, I kind of miss being in college, not only for all the fun that was in college, but also for the fact that, like, when you're a student and you have like an email with, you know, in your case, a PENN.edu or whatever it is, like, people respond to that email just because you're a student. And so, like, you have an uncanny ability right now to, like, cold call and cold email whoever you want, and your chances of getting a response are a lot higher than they will be for the next few years after you get out of college. And so, you know, utilize that network you have, utilize that email address, and reach out to people through your university, because it's a huge resource that right now is particularly potent and will continue to be later on in your career. So I think that's, you know, got to be one of the first places you go.
That's terrific advice.